Welcome back! Last week I sent you a video announcing that my book, Elephant in the Room, would be published any day now. It was a great opportunity for me to tell you why I wrote a Christian fiction novel about gluttony and what I have learned from the Bible, God's Word, to help me change my bad eating habits and to correct the way I think about food. I promised I would tell you how I did it, how I wrote my first 50,000 word novel in just 30 days. With my daughters getting older and working independently on schoolwork, I decided to write a book, but I needed some help and encouragement. So I joined a free online writing club called National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo for short. They challenged the world to write 50,000 words in the month of November, using motivational emails, online activities, and virtual award badges every step of the way. So in November 2015, I sat down every day to write about 1,700 words. And by the end of the month, I had the first draft of my novel, Elephant in the Room. There's been a lot of editing since then, but I can't tell you the great sense of accomplishment I felt for finishing that project. I'm here with my writing buddy, Corey Garrett. When I met Corey, I found out that she had already written a few novels. So when I decided to write my first book, and I joined the writing group National Novel Writing Month, I told her, and she said, oh yeah, she was already a member. And the year that I wrote Elephant in the Room, she wrote a book, but she wrote it on her phone with her thumbs. So that was one of those funny things. I thought I had done a good job, but I got to use all my fingers. So that was a fun story, Corey. I really liked that. So thanks for chatting with me today. I have just a couple questions for you. And that is, how did you get started with this whole NaNoWriMo writing 50,000 words in 30 days?
Well, my sisters, I have two sisters, and we've all always loved to write. And one year we tried to all do fairy tale retellings, but we kind of, my younger sister finished and I didn't, and this and that. But then we saw we stumbled on this 30-day thing. So my older sister and I decided to do it together, and we were both going to do time travel. And so it was great. That whole month we called each other, and hers ended up being historical fiction because she loves history, and then mine ended up being future sci-fi because I love sci-fi. So that's how I got started with my sisters.
Oh, that's so good. Now, you've done it 5 times, and you're going to do it again this year?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
So how will you discipline, or how do you discipline yourself to sit down and write in November?
Right. Yes. That is the hard part. I think a big part of it is letting your family know that you want to do it, so that they give you, they will allow you a certain time, and then also trying to really look through my schedule and figure out when can I do this. So for me, it's usually 8 to 10 at night, or usually in the evenings, or when my daughter's napping, maybe I could get in a few minutes. And then I usually just remind myself this is not Shakespeare. I just have to put my bottom in the chair and I have to write. That is how you finish. And so I give myself this little pep talk. It doesn't have to be great, it just has to be words. And then I just sit down and do it.
And you've done it. So good advice from someone who's actually done it. Thanks a lot, Corey.
No problem, thanks.
One of the tools that I have used in my personal life and like to share, I also modeled in the book when characters face trials and temptations with food. I call it the Mortifying Sin Worksheet. It's just a list of 8 questions to ask yourself before, during, and after a challenging situation. It helps you to identify and evaluate your thoughts, words, and deeds, and replace the wrong things with the right things. I would be happy to send you a free download copy right now, so please click on the button at the bottom of this email to let me know you'd like a copy of this helpful resource. If you want some examples of how to work through the questions, well, you can read a few examples in my book, which leads me to the exciting news. My book, Elephant in the Room, will be published in print and ebook format by Dove Christian Publishers, available on Friday, September 1st. I'm so excited to share my book with you. But I mentioned last time that sometimes when I tell people that I've written a book about gluttony, they have some strange reactions. I know that gluttony, eating too much food or eating for the wrong reason, can be hard to talk about. In fact, that's where I came up with the title for the book. The old idiom, elephant in the room, refers to a big problem that's obvious, but people try to ignore it, hoping it will go away. But how can you ignore an elephant in the room? You can't. So even if it makes you uncomfortable, we need to talk about gluttony. We can't ignore it. People are hurting physically and emotionally, and it's a spiritual problem too. And they're looking for solutions to take away the pain. I'm so thankful that God, in His infinite wisdom as the creator of human beings, tells us the solution throughout the Bible. There's another challenge that I have faced when talking about my book. How can I offer a book about gluttony to others without insulting them? I can't say, "Hey, I wrote a book about gluttony and I really think you should read this." And I don't want you to recommend my book to a friend that way either. But once again, God teaches us how to share wisdom and truth to our hurting friends. It's all about being a humble, wise counselor and accountability partner. Rather than me telling you my opinions of how to fix your life, I can come alongside you as someone who has struggled with sinful eating habits and has succeeded in the battle. I wrote about accountability partners in the book as examples of how we can help and encourage one another as we learn how to put off bad eating habits and start thinking, speaking, and making right choices about eating food. So don't be afraid to invite some friends to read through the book with you and talk about gluttony together. You'll be glad you did. I will send you one more reminder on September 1st when the book is released by Dove Christian Publishers. Until then, please request your free copy of the Mortifying Sin worksheet and check out my website at kristenharperbooks.wordpress.com and leave your comments and questions there. I'll talk to you soon.